Hello. I wanted there to be... Oh, there is. Never mind. It is there. Cool. I got music in there. Okay. Sorry. Won't hear it twice. Yeah, I made a little... I think it's over on my end. Yes, I believe so. Anyway. Yeah, I got music. Sorry. I wanted to have some music because I coughed last night. I felt bad. But hello, everyone. Hello, Ramsey the Artist, Catbot, Jordan Salafalo, Cornbread, Austin, Purple Goop, The Mighty Jim. I like that. Lewis, I think. Yes, how's it going? Oh, thank you. Actually, thank you, Cornbread, because I had it set up, but didn't send it. I hope everyone liked the little song. Anyway, I'm here in the kitchen. We're doing this from the kitchen again. There's a lot going on. Just wife organizing some baby clothes and stuff, but it was better for me to be in here tonight. So that's why I am. Oh, previously on Movie Crowd. Nice, Austin. Nice. Did that? Okay, there we go. I was just I don't know. I'm paranoid. Did the music sound okay to everyone? Can anyone tell me? You too. I too have been thinking about that car. Thanks. Well, first one. This is the C4 Smart Energy. I've never had C4 before. It's cherry berry lime. I am doing well, actually. I'm doing a lot better. Cheers to all of you. Thank you for the first super chat of the night, Austin. Tastes good. Okay. I've Godzilla and Kong back here, holding it down. Hey, Jim, I don't know if I told you, but I got a standing desk. Oh, okay. A standing desk. Wow, that's like a whole thing. But congratulations. Okay, it sounded good. I tried to get the music and I didn't get to test it, and I was gonna... Anyway. Cheers to you, Bloxy. Cheers to you. Congratulations. I hope you enjoy your standing desk. Okay. A little quieter. I will assess that later. It was sort of the test run. Hello, Javier Portello. Sort of the test run for doing that. But yeah, this is kind of an interesting show because, one, it's going to be a lot of like loose news stories. I don't think there's a real big one. So that'll be interesting. Thank you for coming to the Oscar show. Sorry there wasn't a second show. I really hurt. My shoulder was really sore, and I wasn't sure how the show would work because there wasn't a ton of... Because the Oscars sucks up the whole week, movie news-wise and animation news-wise. So I was a little unsure, and my arm hurt, and I wasn't feeling great, so I was like, let's just... But we still got a show a week, so I think that's still good. But anyway, yeah, other than that, I forgot to mention, because the weekend of the Oscars was Sophie's birthday, it was sort of a family thing, present, but we got a Nintendo Switch, so I've actually been playing Mario Kart, and we have Mario Kart, Mario Wonder, and we're sort of getting into it. So I feel like I want to move my setup a little. Hold on. We're going to move the mic to right in front of me. Hold on. Where's the... Oh, now it's like... Okay, you're going to move here. You're going to move up. Sorry. It's hard to set this up because I have a sound blanket behind it, so it's not just... Anyway, if you didn't know, every time I do these, I have to reset up everything. I would do music tests, just there's so much to cover, but I do want to do... That was sort of just like how will it go. But anyway, I think maybe that's a good idea for one coming up, and that was sort of an unofficial thing, so whatever. But yeah, so we got a Nintendo Switch. That's been a lot of fun. We played Mario Kart tonight. I don't know. I'm okay. I don't think I'm really amazing at it, but we'll see. I don't know if we'll get any more games. It's kind of expensive and all that, but I'm happy with the games we have, and like playing with Sophie and stuff. I try to not be like a jerky dad who's like, oh, I won and stuff. I try to like, I don't know. I try to mix it up where like she doesn't win all the time, but I don't win all the time. I don't know if there's a right way to do that. I just know like, I think I had a dad who tried to win all the time, and I think a lot of people did, and that sort of stinks. I don't think that teaches you anything other than this sucks. But just get cheap indie games. Okay, I don't really know. I'm sort of just really learning it, so I don't know if it'd be an obsession. I know the Peach game maybe, but yeah, I can't think of anything else. Just sort of been recovering. What'll happen also, I guess, before we get into the whole show, and I do have some things, is X-Men 97. I'm going to do shorts or reels or TikTok, like the actual shorts, not just movie crap shorts, of the reviews of each episode, and then I will have a review of the full season at the end. I did shoot a review of season 1 of the original show. That will be coming out probably next week. But yeah, so I think Thursday, I know tomorrow, I'm hoping tomorrow there'll be X-Men 97 short and then a review, but it might just be 2 X-Men 97 shorts. We'll see what happens. Or it could just be one thing, but something's coming out tomorrow. I don't know if they'll always be part of the show. But it's sort of a weird thing because I realize X-Men 87 comes out on Wednesday. The show is Wednesday. I feel like that'll happen, but we'll see if that continues. Beyond that, I don't know. I hope the mic sounds okay. I don't know. I hope so. And Yuri's son, Yuki's... Where did I put it? Hold on. Where did I put... Oh my goodness, how many tabs do I have? Okay. How many different windows? The other segment is Miyazaki's first thing. I people really like or Yuki-san, the last one I did, and so I was like, well, I should do another one, but that's sort of the only oh, that's cool, Cornbread. Thank you. That's interesting. I will look into that. Tricky Cap is here. How's it going, Marley? No, I really like the first 2 episodes. Those will be in the segments later, but yeah, Yuki-san also, because that'll be like a proper movie crap segment. The X-Men 97, I'll do the shorts and I'll give some loose thoughts. And we'll see how many things come out of that. We'll see. And yeah, I'm trying to think it's been hard to just like get things done, just in general with life. But I do gotta say I never talk about performance videos or anything, and this is not like a huge banger. I didn't go viral or something like that. But and I kind of want to just thank you guys, the audience. Maybe that sounds silly, but the kind of dice beat thing I put out, I never have like original music that's not like a cover of something or it's a song about something that's trending or something do well as that did, which is only like 400 views, but I was still actually really happy. It was like, oh cool, like because that I made that a while ago and I was unsure and I didn't know when the next thing was coming out, so like I'll just put it out, and it did well, and it made me, because that song is a song I've had for like over 10 years and I never had a good place to put it. And I was like, I think it's finally time. And I don't know. It made me feel good. That's all. I just wanted to share. I was like happy with the reception of that, and it did better than like other things that are like better images and maybe newer songs and whatever. I don't know. Sorry if that's like just a personal like. I was like, cool. Made me feel good about the music. I do notice I get a lot of. It sounds like a Knock Force end theme, and I almost want to comment like, yeah, I know, because that was also me, pretty much. So all the end themes were me. So like Ian and I divvied it up, but I always find that interesting. Like I always get that comment. I'm like, well, yeah, because that was me. That was like the same thing, but whatever. I don't want to sound like an asshole when I just do that, but I was like, at least I sound consistent. It didn't take 10 years to make. I made it 10 years ago. I just didn't release it. Just to be clear. Didn't take 10 years. But anyway. Okay. Oh, so before we get into the main thing, this is like a Ghostbuster things. I am drinking the C4 Smart Energy, which Cornbread did guess correctly, but thought he didn't, but did. So okay. So this is a real exchange I've had literally 3 times, and it's gone pretty much the conversation structured the same way, and I find it to be odd. And this is just like a thing at the beginning, and I just wanted to let this out because I find it insanely odd. So I watch a lot of movies. I don't know if you knew that. If you're watching this channel, I hope you do. But usually people are like, "Oh, what is a cool thing coming out?" And I actually, regardless of with Ghostbusters and stuff, I like the concept. I think it's a cool concept. Actually, I'm actually a little excited. Maybe the most excited I've been for Ghostbusters since when Ghostbusters 2 came out. I was alive for that. Not that I wasn't as excited for the other two, but this one, like, at least it's a concept, and it's not like, oh, everyone's coming back and stuff. It's just sort of like Ghostbusters. I'm like, okay, that's cool. And I mention that, and every time I mention that, they go, well, I hope it's better than the last one. And I go, yeah, Afterlife was so bad. Like, I really hated Afterlife. And they go, oh, no, I mean the one with all the women in it. And I'm like, oh, that's okay. And then I have to hear like this weird rant. I'm like, and I'll go like, that's like not, that's the previous Ghostbusters is Afterlife. It's not, and they just undeterred. So it was weird that it's like, even though that was 8 years ago and we've moved on franchise wise, and this is the second one since that, people are still like, apparently still mad and upset about that. And I'm just like, okay. And then still have opinions. And when two of the people hadn't even seen Afterlife, but felt that it was better just because it existed. So, kind of depressing. I need to hang out with better people maybe. But it's just like, I'm like, serious, geez, like, we're still upset about that, huh? Okay. Doesn't seem worth it, but it just totally bizarre. And it was like the same conversation. By the third time, I was like, Jesus. And I had hesitancy bringing it up. Hello, a guy named Crystal. How's it going? But yeah, I don't get the Ghost. One thing I will say about Ghostbusters that I always find interesting, and I brought this up before, is anytime people say their favorite scene, I would say, and I'm not trying to be tricky, I would say, do you believe in magic? Like, that part with the weird music is my favorite part. And almost everyone doesn't know what I'm talking about. And I'm like, if you've seen this movie 500 times, the fuck do you not know? They say the lyrics like 40 times in the song. And I have a theory that none of them actually like Ghostbusters, the movie. They like the cartoon, but they don't actually accept it. And anyway. All right, moving on. Sorry, that's probably dumb. Oh, the Ecto Cooler. By the way, if you ever drink Ecto Cooler, because when I was a kid with Ecto Cooler, it was always in lunch boxes, so it was never really that cold because it's sitting in a backpack all day or whatever. If you have Ecto Cooler cold, seriously amazing. But I mean, I don't think the female Ghostbusters is a great movie or anything, but like, it doesn't. I don't know. Ghostbusters people are weird. That's what I've decided. I am gonna see whatever it is, Frozen, whatever the fuck. But yeah. Oh, hey, Mika, how's it going? Yeah, it's all trimmed up and everything. All right. No, Ecto Cooler. I think it was at New York Comic Con. We had like these huge things of Ecto Cooler. It was so tasty. Oh my god. All right. Anyway, the throwbacks. Before we get into it, I think Dune Part 2 will be my next full review. That will come out soon. Just want to hype that up. Zone of Interest, as well as X-Men Season 1 and Kung Fu Panda 4 probably soon. Also, I kind of messed up with throwbacks because I posted Muppets Most Wanted everywhere, but the YouTube community post didn't post, and I didn't notice it till it was way too late. So that post will go up this weekend. There'll be another throwback, which I think will either be tomorrow or Friday. We'll see how tomorrow goes. Which will be my review of just X-Men Night of the Sentinels. So if you want to hear me just talk about the first 2 episodes of the X-Men animated series, that review I did back when I think it was X-Men Apocalypse came out or something. Anyway, that will be up there. Or you can watch it now if you want. It doesn't matter to me. Yes. All right. So, here we go. This and everything I do is supported by you, the fans, either through having a delicious thank you, King Kong. See, they're both there because that movie's coming up. this and everything I do is supported by you, the fans, either through drinking this beautiful drink. I'm going to take another one. Keep me awake. That's why I drink the energy drinks. And I'll read out your super chat and all those amazing things, or through my Patreon, link below, or also super thanks, but I'll get into that. Patreon, you get things like community posts, you get, or not, well, you do get posts, you get postcard updates, you get updates, postcards, you get to have a movie in the movie review vote, you get exclusive content. I think there's going to be a Robert Downey Jr. Part 2 that's just going to go to Patreon because they weren't. Anyway, or you got an exclusive thing for the Jodie Foster one. You get exclusive content stuff, both that I don't have a place for, as well as stuff exclusively made like my commentary series. And it's also a great way to support the show. There's also super thanks. If you do give us super thanks, it's a great way if you always want to be a part of the live stream and can't, and want to see me drink an energy drink. That's at the time. If you do give us super thanks, I will do that on the show that happens after the super thanks. And yes, if you are financially able to do so, of course. If not, just subscribing where you get the community posts, learning about when I'm going to do a live stream, the throwback videos, all sorts of cool stuff like that, as well as when the videos come out. And if you want to have notifications on and want to know when all my stuff comes out, I recommend it. If you don't, then that's fine. But if you just like watching me occasionally and giving a thumbs up, that's cool. But just watching is fine, and thank you for being here. But if you do give anything for any of those various options and are financially able to do so, I thank you very much. As well as the Discord, didn't forget, the Discord has a lot of cool stuff like the Ask Jim channel, which I need to answer all those questions for. The licensed playing card channel, which these are featured. These are the worst licensed playing cards I've ever seen in my life, but we still keep them around. Then we have the they have movie watches every weekend. They have all sorts of cool stuff on the Discord. If you like the chat during the show and want to hang out in that community, I highly recommend you do so. As well as I have a TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, I'm not calling it X, Tumblr, Facebook fan page, all linked below, should be linked below, I believe. And also check out Ace the Wind Riders links if you like the we'll be right back thing. Anyway, let's get into... hold on. Now this kind of... Some of the names... Is it... Hold on. Bruce DeMay... No, that's not it. Hold on. We'll talk about X-Men 97 stuff first with... sorry, I want to get the names right, and I feel like I know the name. Beau DeMayo. I was thinking Bruce DeMayo. Okay, so Beau DeMayo, who was considered the creator or one of the head creative minds of the new X-Men 97, was let go pretty much a couple days before the premiere, and a lot of the press started, and thus why I don't think you can find an interview by him, and it seems like there was going to be, and now there is not. And there was sort of a question because they severely fired this guy. It was like all email was cut off, all workplace communication was cut off. It was like very, very immediate. And although there are plenty of ideas of that's a pretty severe firing, I'd imagine he had to do something really bad. We don't really know the specifics of that at this time. But we do know that when he worked on things like The Witcher and other shows, he was incredibly difficult to deal with. Almost every day on a lot of the shows he's worked on, there's been a problem with him, or he's yelled at someone or demeaned someone. And it was always he's just, I think if you're difficult to a degree that supposedly he is or has been, which we knew before we found out that's why he was supposedly fired and let go and was very difficult on the show, but he had a history of this and having problems with people and picking favorites and stuff like that. But the other thing is he had a weird OnlyFans, which apparently was safe for work. And I know OnlyFans was supposed to be a Patreon originally, and if when OnlyFans started you had an OnlyFans and it didn't become what it became, then yeah, it's like, oops, sorry, haha, I had an OnlyFans, and you joke. But it sounds like he had it after that, and I don't know, it was weird, but yeah, he wrote all of season 1 and 2. His name is in all the credits of stuff. Until there's more from that, we did learn that he is, yeah, pretty much fired, didn't go to the premiere, didn't get to do any press, which is unfortunate because it sounds like he worked hard. But if he was really demeaning people, making people feel small, making them feel bad, I was also like, that's not like very X-Men really. But I know he's like a very proud like black gay creator and stuff like that. But I think he really, the OnlyFans apparently did worry Marvel and Disney, but there hasn't been, to my understanding, anything that was not safe for work on this OnlyFans. Now, I didn't go to it, but everything I've read, they were like, I mean, it was sort of like, this is weird, but it wasn't, there was nothing to anyone's understanding. But there's rumors of like messages on there and stuff, which I'm not comfortable. Like, I'm like, maybe, but it's also like where he used to like post things about the show. And I think that's actually probably more of a problem. Is like, it's one thing to have an Instagram and be like promoting a show, but it's another thing to like be getting money for that. And I don't know if like Disney might have been like, you can't like make a Patreon to get news on our show, man. Like, that's not cool. So I don't know if like, I think possibly the real thing with the OnlyFans that could have happened is he leaked something that they did not want leaked to like for his subscribers. I can imagine that would actually get you fired. So if that is what happened. But we'll see. So I thought there would be some news about Beetlejuice. I thought we were going to get a trailer. There had been sort of mixed news about this. That's why I was like, Beetlejuice is going to be in the thumbnail. Beetlejuice, there's going to be a fucking trailer and all this stuff. And there's some tweets that are like, it'll be tonight. There's some, it'll be Thursday. I've seen even Friday. I'm assuming maybe the Alien Romulus, they didn't want to compete with that maybe, and X-Men, and like have more of a day to themselves, which is probably a smarter move. But we got the first looks. The first looks look fine. There's nothing more to talk about. I feel like next week I will be talking about the Beetlejuice trailer. But it came out today, and then apparently Tim Burton said he's using stop motion, which I've heard people say he hasn't done that since the 90s. And I'm like, Frankenweenie, guys. I mean, it's still been like 12 years, but, you know... That was stop motion. Wasn't it directed by him? Anyway, I hope it's not CG. I think people are just excited for it. And if he does it properly with the proper effects, supposedly he has, that sounds cool. We'll see about the trailer when it maybe comes out tomorrow, probably. In other news that did drop, we learned that there's going to be The Sims, also the Alkalite trailer. That's true, too. This Sims movie from Margot Robbie's Happy Chap Productions. And it's going to be directed by Kate Herron, who was a director on things like Loki and Sex Education and stuff. We don't know if Margot Robbie's going to star in it, but this is sort of what Happy Chap does, is they very much help out female directors, which is one of the few production companies that does that. A lot of them just don't. And it's actually pretty cool that she is. Like, we've seen people with like Emerald Fennell and people like that. But I don't know, it's cool that she is helping out female directors, like what she did with Greta Gerwig and so forth, and bringing her in to direct something like The Sims. And obviously your production company has a history working with a brand and promoting it and marketing it and making all these other products. I think that I think it's a smart move, to be honest with you. Like, picking something like that. I don't know if she should star in it, but at least her production company is able to understand how to develop something like that, and they have a good history with a huge hit like Barbie. I'm surprised they picked The Sims, but maybe like her and the combination. But it's cool that they're picking someone who's like a TV director or a streaming show director, I guess, and pushing her along in a certain way. I hope they like what happened with, in particular, S.J. Clarkson, who is a very well-regarded TV director, and then that ended up with Madam Web. So I'm actually kind of hoping that since Margot Robbie has a great track record, she will work that out. But it's TV directors are an interesting thing because there's not a lot of them who are well regarded who make great auteur directors. Like Alan Taylor, who did Thor: The Dark World, did a lot of Sopranos and Game of Thrones, but then like, did he ever make a good movie? So it's like I think a lot of people wanted that to happen, but it never really, the TV director to movie pipeline. I can't think of too many who are blowing up. Maybe I'm wrong. I mean, other than Justin Lin, I guess Justin Lin from Community. That's about it, isn't it? Yeah, that sucks. Anyway, I think The Sims could be cool with Margot Robbie behind it. She really does embrace auteurs, and particularly female auteurs. I think it could be really cool. You're right about Cornbread, about the Asian racism in Frankenweenie. Tim Burton is not particularly the most nuanced person. I don't think he really thinks about what he's doing. So he's just not. I don't know. I hope the new one, the Beetlejuice, doesn't. I don't know. He very much makes things like an old dude. So we're like, that's kind of what it is. The Russos, I guess they're okay. I'm sorry. I guess it's the Russos and Justin Lin. That's a good point. Zodberg. Thank you for bringing that up. All right. Sorry, I'm kind of. That's sort of. I don't know. That's sort of what it's going to be tonight with all these. Some of these stories I'll go on about, but I'm sort of just like, let's just try to hit as many as we can. I'll probably take a break around 11:45 so I can get the X-Men 97 and Yuki-san, and then we can do some questions. Right? Is that cool? No, it's okay, Cornbread. This is sort of a loose one. This is loose, I guess. Anyway. So the Cat in the Hat movie. Look, I'm not. I don't really get why we make Dr. Seuss movies. They're sort of pretty limited stories. They've already made a Cat in the Hat movie that didn't. It was weird and stuff. Bill Hader's The Cat in the Hat. Quinta Brunson's in it. All this stuff. I think these are terrible ideas for movies. Until they make the Footbook, that's a banger. But or Go Dog Go. But this stuff, no. I just think it's like, these are TV specials. These are not movies. You're not gonna. I mean, like, you're not gonna make like the Green Eggs and Ham show out of all these. I think it's like kind of a bad idea. I just am not super into this at all. I just kind of think they're just. It's just a bad idea. I mean, Cat in the Hat is like, for a bedtime book, is a little longer, to be honest. But I'm just not digging it at all. I mean, it's like, how are you? I sort of understand that could be a premise for a movie, but Cat in the Hat, like, it's kind of a bedtime favorite. I mean, we have a couple bedtime favorite movie trailers and announcements tonight, but I just feel like a lot of it is just like, why just make one special? And even when they do, like, they made the Snowy Day cartoon, it's not as good as, they never make the art as well. They like kind of normalize it, and then I'm just like, well, what the fuck's the point? Like, I don't know. Snowy Day is a big hit in my house, and it's like, when I watch the cartoon, I'm like, this is boring as fucking crap. Like, why is always the design so much worse? Like, I don't understand that. I don't know. To me, it's like when I watch Dr. Seuss or read a Dr. Seuss thing, it's like when the Butter Battle book, I think Bakshi directed that one, like, that reminded me of the illustration, but it's like when they make it like CG'd out and stuff, I'm just, anyway, not my thing, I guess. But they're making another one. Bill Hader's going to be the Cat in the Hat. Good for him. I'm glad he's getting paid. Whatever. All right. Need some water. Waiting for the. I know Godzilla and Kong. Well, I'll drink some more. They'll give me some more. Don't worry. Apparently there was announced that there's going to be that Batman is moving back an entire year from 2025 to 2026. This would be about 4 years since the Batman came out. The thing with this is, I think Batman, to start a new franchise and have 4 years between them is not great. But 2025 has too many superhero movies. It's like jam packed. I sort of think they knew the script wasn't ready. If Blade's coming out around that time, and they have Superman in the summer, and they have Fantastic Four, and they have this and they have that, it's like it won't get the proper attention. So I think it's a smart move date wise. I think it sucks for that franchise. It's like not really good for it. But the thing that's going to come up, and it's going to be a theme tonight, is the idea that Warner's is going to be bought by Universal, and how that's affecting various things. That's going to get into the DreamWorks thing. That's going to be brought up a few times, and a lot of people are bringing up it's highly possible that by the time The Batman 2 goes into production, Warner Brothers will have been bought by someone else. So, it's not great. Basically, I didn't know about the Switch 2. Sorry, I'm not really that big of a game person, so it's like, hey, we got there sort of. But the Batman, I think, I don't think it's good for that franchise, and it could potentially be them just like showing like, oh, well, we have other stuff coming out later. Certain things feels like both companies are sort of figuring themselves out because they know something's going to happen, and that bleeds into, I'll just go into this, the DreamWorks stuff, which kind of came out from a Reddit Q&A from the co-director of Kung Fu Panda 4, what happened with that production, what's going on and everything like that. While reading it, it was like every production, a lot of productions, even movies you really like, have really messy productions. That doesn't mean necessarily the movie's bad or something like that. It just happens. Shit goes wrong. Not a big deal. But I think the fact that he brings up that DreamWorks really needs a hit, that Mike Mitchell was brought in. Apparently, I didn't know he's like basically a closer on movies. Like you bring him in to finish an expensive film, which makes sense if you look at his filmography. He's done Shrek 4. I think he did Shrek 4, Kung Fu Panda 4, Lego Movie 2. And in Lego Movie 2's case, he was brought in when other directors had left. And he was brought in to like finish it, get it on time. And apparently that's like his thing, and it does feel like he's very much more into bringing it in basically. But the co-director of Kung Fu Panda 4 brought up that DreamWorks like really needs to be making a profit, not be in the red or anything like that. I do think, like, the fact that, like, Universal has DreamWorks and Illumination, I think DreamWorks has really become the, like, forgotten stepchild kind of thing of their animation division. And if they have Warner Brothers and Chris Meledandri is running Warner Brothers, which I said, I think he could do that, but I can see DreamWorks getting lost in that mix, and I'm sure maybe that's why they're like, we need hits. And Kung Fu Panda 4 is doing well. It's been number 1 at the box office 2 weeks in a row. Which is amazing for for DreamWorks, but I do think this kind of shows like the pressure they're under, shows that like they sort of know it's probably not great. I also think Orion in the Dark sort of got forgotten about. I think that should have gotten more notices. I think it's a great movie. I've seen more people watching it and talking about it like family wise. I hope it doesn't get forgotten at the end of the year. Right now it might be that and maybe the second Dune, but Dune, Orion in the Dark is pretty fantastic. So, I think like you can tell like they couldn't, Kung Fu Panda 4, they really wanted to be like the franchise all comes together and stuff, but wouldn't like pay for it, which is embarrassing. Also, like why do that if you're not going to get the voices? Why, why are you fucking around with this thing? If you wanted to make money, it still made money despite all your bullshit. And like I do find it to be weird what they're doing, when I think DreamWorks is a really promising studio, but they've had like Trolls 2 or Trolls 3 did pretty better than I think most people realize. So I hope they're not gonna just forget about it if this merger does indeed happen like we all think it is. But it shows me DreamWorks, even if it doesn't happen, is not in the greatest shape, that they're like really micromanaging and cheapening out the thing. And he kept bringing up How to Train Your Dragon 4, which I hope doesn't happen because I feel like that franchise is sort of over. But at the same time, like, I thought Kung Fu Panda was over and they made a fourth one. So maybe they're, like, not as opposed to that. I kind of think the future of DreamWorks should be the bad guys and maybe a Shrek 5 or something, but it should be original stuff. But if we look at the original stuff, like Orion in the Dark, not hearing about as much. Ruby Gillman didn't pop off as much. So, but hearing it from them in this Reddit Q&A was pretty not good. It didn't, there, even though it's a messy production, you can be like, all productions are messy. There's no way to read this and go, oh man, I feel good about DreamWorks animation now. Like, you just don't, you just, like, you don't feel good about DreamWorks animation at all. Hello, Mandela Butterfly. Hello, how's it going? You just are like, man, I don't feel good about this at all. And that they were like considering live action and considering this and that, and then it feels like they weren't sure how to bring in various characters. They sort of like tried to come up with things at the last minute. It just sounds like a mess, and it feels like a studio. I don't remember what their next production is after this. I mean, I've seen 2 DreamWorks movies in 2024. That's not even a joke, like new ones. So to me, they're actually doing all right, but I don't know. It's worrying because Illumination's so profitable, and it felt like DreamWorks was on the right path, and now it feels like they tried ambitious of Hello the West Side Eater, and now it's I don't know. Doesn't feel good, does it? Doesn't feel good. All right. So I've sort of bounced around. Sorry. So there's rumors, or that it's been confirmed they're doing a Popeye live action. I think this sucks because a Popeye animated. I mean, come on. The Wild Robots the next movie? Damn it. And that seems really good. Fuck. That's worrying. I hope they release it. I really like that trailer a lot. And when I saw it in the theater, I was like, man, I'm excited for that one, to be honest with you. I hope the Wild Robot does okay. I mean, it doesn't have an amazing release date, but the fact that I'm already talking about, they're going to have 3 movies. Do they have another one after that? I don't know. I didn't look it up. So yes, the Popeye live action. We've heard about this. I look, Robert Altman was able to make a really weird kind of mess into something. But I kind of think no one else is going to be able to get that magic to work. You have to be an extremely weird director, who's a bad choice. And they don't got that, man. I think they need to not make this, basically. It's a bad idea. They need to move away from doing a live-action Popeye. What they need to do is, make Gendy's Popeye movie. I think we've all been saying it forever. Like, make a cool... Because there's a lot of good, like, the 2-reeler Popeyes. I'd like to review those at some point. But there's a lot of cool Popeye stories that could be a movie. I'm not saying that. I think property-wise it could work. But, like, you're telling me that, like, you can only do that in live action? Like, what? I don't know. It's like, you're going to do it in live action, you're just emulating animation. Like, just make an animated one. Like, you have... Gendy will make you a good Popeye movie. Like, look at, like, the craziness of Hotel Transylvania 3, or look at what he did with the Unicorn Show, whatever it was, Unicorn Warriors Eternal, right? I mean, like, I feel like he has a good Popeye on. We all know it. Just, like, do that. But, like, don't make... Like, kids don't really know Popeye as well. So it's like, if you're going to do it, reintroduce it correctly. Not in this, like... I don't know. Unless they have, like, an amazing take and have a weird enough director choice. But I think, like... If you get, like, a regular kind of studio director, which they probably do, and do that, it's like, why even bother? Why even bother? In my mind. But... So, sorry, I hope this bouncing around show, because there's a lot of bouncing around. Let's talk about Scream 7. Now, I never thought I would be, man, Scream 7, this is a weird one. Well, it's not. So Scream, where we are in the Scream franchise and how we got here, and I think I should explain that, is first, what happened. I'm going chronologically, so I don't think I forgot something. Nev Campbell was not in Scream 6 because she didn't get paid. Jamie Lee Curtis got paid very well for her coming back, but Nev Campbell did not, and she objected to that and wouldn't come back for 6. Then we had everything happen with Melissa Barrera, who's pro-Palestine, and Spyglass fired her kind of unceremoniously. Jenna Ortega wouldn't return, and they decided they need to reboot. Then they come out and say, we're going to do Scream 7. Nev Campbell is back, and Kevin Williamson, the guy who wrote the original screenplay, is going to direct. Now, I think this has lost a huge demo for a couple reasons. One, they should have just sold the Scream franchise. No one's going to watch it under Spyglass, particularly with how they fired Melissa Barrera. Second is, when people return to a franchise, like Jamie Lee Curtis did for the Halloween trilogy with David Gordon Green, like what Nev Campbell did with Scream 5. That's a momentous occasion. You're like, oh my god, they're back. Nev Campbell came back like this since the pandemic. This is the second time she's come back. So like, are we really gonna like? I don't know. And then there's Kevin Williamson, who has directed one movie, which was Teaching Mrs. Tingle, which is not great. And he did write the original Scream. He that's his best screenplay he's ever written. I don't actually like him outside of the Scream movies at all. Like, I think his writing stinks. I always had to hear kids in middle school and high school be like, no, I do talk like the Dawson Creek characters. They did not. They just said the F word a lot. Not the fun one, the other one. To me, it's just like, I don't like Kevin Williamson. I think he's like, his prose is overdoing it. The reaction that everyone had in the 90s to both Mamet and Tarantino and trying to sound smart, he like overdid it to a degree that's like, I don't think you understood any of this. And it's like the reverse of what happened with Gilmore Girls. I could get into the history of dialogue at the time, but Kevin Williamson took a hard right into like stupid people, like the stupidest smart sounding dialogue you can ever imagine, without Wes Craven there, who was a huge horror auteur at the time. To do it, I just don't think it would work. I think the only way you could do it is, a couple of people said, like a New Nightmare idea, where like you get Jamie Kennedy back, you get David Arquette back, you get everybody back, and it's like there's the Stab movies, and they're the actors sort of hearing about them making a Stab film and stuff like that, and do this meta approach, much like with New Nightmare. That could work, but I think you have to sell it. Like, you can't have Spyglass. It's just, you've ruined it. You've ruined the younger generation who were really into them. Like, Scream 6 did very well. But, like, the older generation, people are like, oh, it's nostalgic. I'm like, Wes Craven's not there. Like, you can't get Wes Craven. So, in my mind, unless you get, like, Sam Raimi or, like, a big horror person from, the old 70s kind of, like, Sam Raimi's the only person who would make me be excited. But, like, Kevin Williamson, I don't really like him, to be honest. Like, I think his writing stinks without a cool auteur there. And I think with what happened with Melissa Barrera's pro-Palestine stuff, it just doesn't make you want to see this movie. It's like, it has to have an amazing concept, but I think that's only half the battle, really. The full thing is you have to sell it. Spyglass should just sell it. It's just not going to work this way. You can keep these people on and sell it and say, hey, we have a movie, and then be like, that's why we have these people, because we wanted to sell it, and that was our plan. And we can all believe it. It'll be fine. But like, just sell it off. It's not going to work. You need the young audience for horror. You have lost them. I might be pro-Palestinian and stuff, but like, the younger generation is far more, and you are not getting them at this point, especially the horror people. That's all they want to post about is like, I saw some Gen X people like, Kevin Williamson is back. I'm like, bitch, you don't like Dawson's Creek? What the fuck? Seriously? Like, to me, it's like, you get a horror guy, you like somebody, like, I don't know, Sean S. Cunningham, is he busy? Like, somebody, somebody. But you can't do what they're doing. It's a bad move. I don't like it. And it's also like, the uniqueness of her coming back is like if Jamie Kennedy was coming back, I'm not a big Jamie Kennedy fan, but I liked him in that role. or Skeet. Yeah, you bring Skeet Ulrich, Matthew Lillard, like the whole thing. You bring them back, I'd be like, oh my god, I would see that. But like this, it's like you're just here like 4 years ago. Like it's not like what? Like I don't get it. Like it just like doesn't work. I don't know. Yeah, whatever. All right. Where are we? Sorry, this isn't okay. We got no. I'll save. Well, okay. Yeah, sure. Why not? The Acolyte trailer. We had that come out. The poster was really cool. We had Carrie-Anne Moss as a Jedi, which amazing. That's really cool. But like, I thought it looked fine. I wasn't gonna watch it, to be honest with you. I might watch the first one. I'm a little curious to like try it out, but I was not like I wasn't ready to watch the whole thing. But man, the Star Wars fandom, whoa, like y'all suck. Like what's going on with them and like new product that's like different? Just a bunch of horrible people. I just don't get the deal with what's going on with that. I don't understand it. I don't get like what they think they're doing with that. It's like you want new stuff but you don't want new stuff. I don't know. I don't looked fine, but like the amount that they like hate stuff, it's like just is it because there's girls there, guys? Like you don't have to be that upset. I don't understand what the big deal is. Like it's just like you let Star Wars grow and you never let Star Wars go. I don't get it. Anyway, whatever. I think Star Wars. The Star Wars fans who are very vocal are the bad ones. If like I've said before, there's the podcast Blast Points. They're actually literally into Star Wars and they're total dorks and I love it. But if you're coming at this from like Star Wars should like, you know, be my weird Nazi agenda and stuff, like obviously that was never going to work. So although I did like when people were reminded that George Lucas has been profiting off of Star Wars and Disney this whole time, as he is the most individual shareholder of Disney, which he got because he bought stock options for his trade in Disney and stuff. I was like, that's interesting. I noticed like how many people are like, Lucas is sitting there on the sidelines. Like, no, he ain't. He's collecting those checks. He made money off Force Awakens and he made money off Last Jedi and all of it. He made money on. Very funny. Like the whole time, dude's collecting checks. Like he didn't just make those $4 billion and run. Oh, and then I saw this thing. I did see one other Star Wars thing that's not on my list, but I'll bring it up. It's like people were like, if you look at the theatrical grosses and the streaming money, they made money off Star Wars. And I was like, yeah, but like, what about merch? Like, you know why Lucas is rich? It's because of plastic shit, like action figures and toys. Like not off Star Wars grosses. Like he does well. He's fine, but like. It was interesting. I've noticed with the Star Wars money, people always go, but if you look at Force Awakens, that's not $5 billion. And I'm like, dude, they made that off the merch. Like that. I don't know. I find the whole Star Wars thing very odd because it's very easy to figure out what's going on with all this. And like, they'll just like go on these like weird things. It's just like, anyway, looking at it, I'm like, wow, y'all just like have other issues. It's nothing to do with Star Wars. You just hate stuff. So the Jonathan Glazer speech at the Oscars, I talked about it, but it's become a further thing. When he won for Zone of Interest, which for Best International Film, and you know, Jonathan Glazer, great director, directed Virtual Insanity, did that review and stuff, and he, you know, came out saying the text that was subtext until I guess everyone figured out what that movie was really about. That obviously part of the movie is about like ignoring things that are going on and particularly bringing up Palestine again. I'm sorry if this is like the political episode. I hope you guys don't hate it or anything. I do. It's relevant for what we're talking about. But there's this thing that came out. There's a letter of like all these people who are in that industry who object to his speech and stuff. And then it came out in the community of Twitter that that it was like a Google forum, which I kind of wanted to find the Google forum and like go through it and make a video of what it was like to sign the letter thing, but I didn't. I actually couldn't find a link, but I was like, I thought it'd be funny. And all these, you know, Amy Pascal, who Generally is not a great person. Like she during the Sony hack, she produces all the Spider-Man stuff because only horrible people are allowed to produce Spider-Man. It's like Avi Arad and her, and she had some like real racist emails that got leaked, but she signed it. Michael Rappaport signed it as like I think he said he was a disruptor. Anyway, all these people are against Jonathan Glazer, as well as the speeches not on YouTube. Here's the thing about the that supposedly ABC.com gets the rights to certain speeches on their thing before the YouTube. Now it seems very convenient that almost all of these are like categories no one would really notice, and that one, and it feels like sort of a saving face kind of bullshit thing. That's what they claim. Like I said before, I did have some sympathy because people were already jumping on their necks. I will never jump on a YouTube channel if they didn't upload something right away, because like trust me, like there's so many times where I can't put out a video because it just processes forever, and that's just how YouTube is. So I had some sympathy that night because I was like, well, maybe. And then that morning I'm like, nah, fuck y'all. Also, you have like, you're the Oscars. I'm sure YouTube, you have a guy you call at YouTube. I don't really have a guy at YouTube at least. So it's showing the ugliness of people, but I do think a lot of these people did not see Zone of Interest or really realize what it would mean. So I don't know. Jonathan Glazer, I don't think they're saying he wanted blacklisted. Like I saw I've seen tweets about it, and I'll say this again, is that he makes a small movie every couple years and then does commercials and stuff. Like I think they're acting like we're gonna stop him from doing a Marvel movie. I'm like, I don't think y'all need to do that. Like I think he's fine. Like he made a movie. He made a movie. I don't know. Sorry, I got distracted. I don't know. He made a movie with the Auschwitz Foundation, so it's like he's not like in those circles. So I think a lot of these people don't really know what's up. They don't seem to be the smartest, or anything like that. Cineram says Kevin Williamson is only directing the next Scream, not writing. Is that better or worse? You know what? I didn't actually notice that. I want to give you credit for noticing that because I did not, and I've heard about this story. Why would you? What? Like that's hold on. Sorry, that's my reaction to this. Like so, like teaching Mrs. Tingle guy, and you're like just directing. Someone else will write it. Like what? That seems odd. Maybe he's directed like Real Bangers TV episodes. That's what I'm gonna assume. Like he's got some like real good TV episodes. That does not make it better. I'm confused now. I didn't know that. Anyway, cheers to you, Syrup. I did a real reaction thing. See, I'm an influencer person. Look at me, ma. All right, cheers to you. Thank you, Syrup. All right. Let's talk about something that is not yeah, if I stick around before August, I will be doing marketing. Oh, Borderlands. I hope I jump off after Civil War. Okay. I'm going to try to not do politicals because there's like, anyway, the Crow trailer. I think we've been wanting to see like what's going on with this Crow reboot. What's happening. And then I remembered, oh shit, it's directed by Rupert Sanders, who directed Ghost in the Shell and Snow White and the Huntsman, and now he's directing Crow. Thanks, Sidra. That was funny. S.J. Clarkson directed good TV episodes too. Zane Powers, why did you have to? That is very true. That is very true. There's certain TV directing is different. Before I get into the Crow thing more, TV directing is so different because it's all set up for you. It's less auteur driven. Unless you're like the person who sets the style of it. That's why usually they have a big director direct the first episode. Also, they get a cut of the show for the whole run of the show. That's why sometimes you'll see like, why did Martin Scorsese direct the pilot of Boardwalk Empire? It was, I mean, I think he wanted to do it, but financially it really works out. That's why you see big directors directing pilots. There's actually a DGA financial reason. But well, cheers to you, Zane Powers. The heart thing is so weird, but that is a good point. Cheers to you. So wait, are you saying that the new Scream could be worse than Madam Web? Uh, uh, anyway, so the Crow trailer came out. I do think now that Rupert Sanders is on a mission to remake all the movies from the 90s I watched too much on VHS. He started with Ghost in the Shell. He's going to do Crow. And I'm calling it now. He's remaking Clerks. It's happening. It doesn't make sense. No. But he clearly has an agenda against me personally. And he's going through them all. So Clerks is next. That sounds like the worst movie ever, but it'll look amazing. No, it won't. He's not even that good. Rian Johnson wasn't on tour before he did TV. It's sort of a pain in the thing. But to be clear on that one. But the Crow thing, like, I saw Bill Skarsgård in the makeup. It just looks like kind of like he looks like he's in a bad new metal band or something. It also like looks too John Wickish. I will give it some credit that it sort of hints at like this could be an insanely like sort of gory one. And I'll give this movie some credit is if like you're John Wick, but like the thing with John Wick is like it's not gory really. It's just like, you know, they do headshots in the beginning, but then it just becomes like and like people fall and stuff. But if they do like a really gory Crow movie, I'm like a little more into that. That's my only like kind of thing there, and like having like a demon a villain that has demon powers and stuff. I'm just like I really don't have a good feeling about this, and the Crow franchise is you know, there's a good first movie, and I saw Alex Proyas really saying he didn't really like the thing and stuff like that. I think the thing people are talking mad shade about him, but like, and that apparently I've heard from years and years that set was a mess. But I think like I'll give Alex Proyas the credit that he went through a pretty horrible thing, like watching someone die under your watch. It was an accident. I'm not blaming him or accusing him, but when you go through something like that, I'm sure your feelings on it are very strong. And I know he said he has a lot of reservations on like how that sort of made his career and stuff. So he hasn't. This isn't out of nowhere, by the way. But I do think part of the thing with Alex Proyas is style-wise, he's like a loose cannon. Like he's fun to watch. Rupert Sanders is not that guy. And I think The Crow, the reason why no one's been able to do what Alex Proyas did in that original, which we still see referenced and pictures of and stuff like that, is like you need to have an interesting director behind it. And like I don't, you know, unless you make Rob Zombies, which is the only pitch I've heard that sounded interesting to me, not saying it would have necessarily been good or not, but it was the only one that sounded interesting to me. I just don't see it. I don't really see it working out. So we'll see, but it just wasn't. I don't know. I'm just like, I think they sort of. It feels like they overdid it, but also missed the point and kind of sanitized it at the same time. So I will see it. I do actually want to review the original Crow because that was back, like, I think I'm dealing a lot with 90s comic book stuff, but that was back when, like, there weren't a lot of comic book movies and shows, and it would be, like, events, and, like, if you went to a con, like, they had every poster alternate in the fucking world at the things, and, like, that was everywhere. Particularly the early 90s was, like, pretty crazy with that stuff. So, like, The Crow has this, and the soundtrack and all this stuff has a very special place in my heart. I have not watched it in a long time. It might be not as good as I remember it, which is possible. It also had like Ernie Hudson. Didn't have the Yellow Ranger. It had the guy from Nope. Is the bad guy this cinematographer? Anyway, I remember it being a cool movie. Maybe it's not. All right, so we're gonna take a break from movie news to talk about the TikTok ban. Congress basically, the government has ruled that TikTok has to I did not. Okay, so I did not. I've not. The only Crow sequel I've seen is Crow City of Angels. I saw some of the syndicated show, and I think I saw the one with Kristen Dunst on TV, part of it, but I don't think I watched all of it. So that's me and the Crow. So there is a TikTok man. My big thing with this is personally, like as a creator, I will be fine. TikTok, I'm in a lot of places, but at the same point, really, that happens more than you think. Rocket Lomax. Magic remaking Dark City. I mean, at least they use those sets for the Matrix, so that's the thing. I don't know if people know that. I feel like I've said that. Sorry about the ads. I do not. Um. But the TikTok. My big thing with this is obviously this is a lot of people said. I'm sorry to bring it up again. This is done to how the younger generation has been so much more political and stuff like that. And how TikTok is the news source for younger generation, and that's why they want to take it out. I don't know. I hope they're able to figure out a way to keep it around because I do think there's a lot of people who, even though I'm like TikTok, it would be disappointing, but it wouldn't ruin me or anything. I think there's a lot of people it would, and that stinks. And I knew a guy who was big on Vine, and took him forever to like figure out what to do with himself. And seeing, see, I met a few Vine people who it took them a few years to get back where they were, and obviously things were different back then. You didn't have your content in a bunch of places back then. Now it's like pretty regular to do that. I don't think that's too weird, but I don't know. I just think it's sort of I hope the people who are just on TikTok are able to figure out what to do with themselves if the worst of this happens. I sort of don't think they would. I think it's sort of a bad idea in general. I hope it doesn't affect, like, especially with people who are like younger than me, that's like their primary app and stuff like that. I hope it doesn't affect like the election and stuff, because I think certain people who aren't as politically active might become so. So we'll see what happens with that. I don't know if I have great things to say. I do know that like TikTok had that thing when I opened it, it was like call your representative. That sort of annoyed the political people that got called and stuff and made it more of the forefront. So I hope TikTok is able to. I think they both need to like sort of work together, and neither wants to. But I hope it. I don't know. I feel bad for anyone who's a creator who gets hurt by it, because I've seen what happens and it's not great. So if you are just a TikTok only person and you're watching this, get on Instagram, get on YouTube especially, and like just make sure all your stuff is saved and all stuff like that. Just please figure like protect your shit right now. Like that's, you should stop watching this. You can pause it, you can come back and protect your shit. Like always have your shit protected, always have it saved on a drive, so if you can't get it out today, you can start rebuilding if and when something happens. Just protect yourself. I'm sorry if it's messing stuff up. I apologize for that. If the ads are. All right, so I'm sorry I'm bumping around. I think the timestamps in this will be a little weird. I probably should have put Rogue Squadron. Should we call our local congressman Zane Powers? If you want to. It would help if you just say, like, this has really upset me. It honestly probably would. Or you just call him, like, I just want to talk. How are you doing? I think that would be funny, but cheers to you, Zane Powers. All right, we don't have... Oh, I wanted to go on a break earlier, but... All right, sorry. I was like, I'm just bumping around. It's a loose show. And anyway, all right. So the Rogue Squadron thing, what's going on with that? I'll just move trailers to the end. What's going on with the Rogue Squadron thing with Patty Jenkins? She recently said in an interview that they're still working on Rogue Squadron and all that. From what has been reported, because she announced Rogue Squadron. There's a really cool teaser, like, Rogue Squadron's coming. This is going to be so cool. My dad was a pilot and stuff. And then it got canceled, so she could work on Wonder Woman 3. Wonder Woman 3 got canceled, and then we didn't know what was going on. And then recently, she brought up she is working on Rogue Squadron. And what I'm hearing is, and let me finish this, that is not untrue. She is working on a draft of the script, but she's a high-profile director, and most likely what a lot of reporters have said is that she has a contract that she has to finish a draft to sort of get paid. And I'm sure the Disney people were like, well, you're not sort of doing anything, so could you give us that draft? Or she was like, can I have my money from this draft? I'm no one sure who asked for who. Supposedly, most people think this is not going to happen unless this draft is like incredible or something. But it's sort of like fulfilling a contract obligation. It is not getting a movie going. But I mean, you are turning in a draft to a studio, and she is a major director. So I sort of get like when people are like, that could be something. And yeah, maybe. But according to most people, she's just fulfilling a contract obligation. So she's not lying. She's not, from what's been reported, I don't work at Lucasfilm. She is doing that. But it's not what it appears to be, basically. There's no Rogue Squadron date. I don't think she's crazy or anything. It's just like, you know. Anyway. All right. There was a Little Shop of Horrors of Halloween is sort of another Little Shop version, directed by Joe Dante, produced by Roger Corman. If you watch my review of the Little Shop musical, I brought up that there is an original Little Shop movie directed by Roger Corman. It's sort of a funnier, kind of satirical one. Bucket of Blood is the first of that trilogy. Little Shop of Horrors is the second. I think Joe Dante is perfect to do this if he's remaking the original one, not the musical, from what I've read. It sounds really cool. I think it could really work. I'm glad Joe Dante's back. Joe Dante remaking a Roger Corman thing is a cool idea. I don't know if he did that wave of like biker. I'm not sure if he's done this before, but he would be perfect for that. I think it's a good idea. I hope it becomes something. And maybe I'll review that original Little Shop of Horrors whenever this comes out. That'd be cool. The Alien Romulus teaser. Now I'll do trailers at the end. Sorry. So everyone seems to hate the Harold and the Purple Crayon trailer. It seems to have caught the ire of the internet. I know the book a little bit. Oh, it's Little Shop of Halloween Horrors. Apologies. The thing is like, this is another one where it's like, it's definitely a bedtime kind of book and stuff. It's a good book. But they kind of change it where it's like, what if he comes into the real world? And it just sort of looks really boring as crap with Zachary Levi for some reason. And I was impressed by how unimaginative it was. Like, it's a movie about imagination. It looks like extremely boring and dull and not imaginative at all. And I'm a little shocked at like, why even call this Harold and the Purple Crayon? It's not Harold and the Purple Crayon. It's like this other fucking thing. It looks horrible. Like, I sort of don't like it when people take properties and they're like, what if we did this thing with him? Like, why don't you do something else? Like, why are you even doing this? I don't really get it. It just looks like a horrible idea for a movie, and I don't fully get what they think they're doing. I'm just going to go through a few things and then we will take a break. Venom 3 has moved up. It's called Venom: The Last Dance. It's moved up from November, only a few weeks, to October 25th. Looks promising. It's probably only of the Spew or something, whatever it is. It's coming out. We heard Ari Aster's movie is going to be a noir western comedy and starring Austin Butler, Emma Stone, Pedro Pascal, and more. Sounds promising. We learned Ryan Coogler's film with Michael B. Jordan is going to be a vampire anime-influenced 30s movie where vampires and the Ku Klux Klan are fighting each other, and Michael B. Jordan is playing twins. So that sounds really weird, but I'm down for that. And the Furiosa trailer was amazing. I don't understand people who don't like Mad Max. I think it is amazing. It's like the most cinema amazing thing you can imagine. So I think I don't know. I don't get the backlash, but it just looked like awesome to me. I need to see George Miller's movie between the two Mad Maxes. I never did for some reason, and it just looks amazing. It's like the movie I'm most excited for this summer. Basically, I don't, yeah. And we saw a bit of the Good Times cartoon, which the design looked really cool. I think I'll check that out when it comes out. So I don't have much to say on the Dan Schneider thing, and I know a lot of people are talking about the Quiet on Set thing. I think a combo of, it's not really a backlash, it's just sort of like, some people don't like it as much, and I was like, okay. I should see Thousand Years of Flying. I don't know why I didn't. I'm stupid. But the thing with the Quiet on Stuff set, I don't really like to do this and like talk on something that I don't have as much like to say about. Like, I don't want to like lie and be like, oh, I watched a few Drake and Josh's. Like, I saw iCarly once. Like, I'm just not like, these people don't. I don't know. It's I don't. I think they matter to people, but they weren't a big thing to me. So a lot of it would be like, I don't know. I haven't watched it. I don't think I will watch it. It's sad that that's going on, but I don't really have much of a opinion other than like, I've always heard that guy like likes feet and is weird, and I don't know. I don't understand why you would do a fucking interview with the Hollywood Reporter to like exonerate yourself. Like, that felt very weird, and I don't understand why a trade would let that happen. I thought that was like a really blight on them to let something like that go. I do not understand what, I think it's Ned's Declassified. Never seen that show, but they're like laughing on TikTok about it. Like, I understand dark humor if you're like with your friends, but like, you're broadcasting that on TikTok. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Like, it's not like, oh, whoops, this is live, are bad. It's like I don't know. I really do not understand that at all. But it's always sad to see that kind of stuff, and it feels like every generation we find out like the kid performers were not being treated very well, and it seems like we keep learning more and more horrible stuff. So I don't really I don't know. I'm just kind of shocked and saddened by it. I do think like employing kids for like a regular sitcom like they do on those things, I'm not super comfortable with that, and the amount of episodes they used to make of those things I think is messed up. I'd love to hear from like other people who work on Disney stuff and like other networks talking about their experiences, but none of them, like, I don't know, it just seems like not, I don't know. Oh, okay. Shan Talks Movies explained he didn't do it with the Hollywood Reporter. He uploaded the interview on his own YouTube channel, and the Hollywood Reporter claimed it was an exclusive, but it wasn't. That's weirder. Anyway, the one obit, I know the creator of Dragon Ball Z died. This is another thing. I don't watch enough Dragon Ball Z to really say anything with that, but I will say, I'm sorry for his loss. I'm sorry for everyone who loved that show. I did watch the one show where it's like Goku's like a little baby kind of thing. He's like searching for Dragon Balls or whatever in the 90s. But I when that started really airing on TV, I was older, and like I sort of missed that, and I wish I knew more. So, but RIP to him, as well as Emmett Walsh, who died today. We learned that today. He apparently sounded like an amazing person. When he was on set, he'd give out $2 bills. He was like such a character actor. Everyone loved him on set. Ryan Johnson tweeted about it. He was in Blood Simple, which I think is one of his better performances. He was in Blade Runner. He has such an illustrious, amazing career. Amazing that he, what he did with that, and probably one of our great characters of our time. All right. I hope all the news stories were interesting enough. I'm going to take a break. We'll do the segments with Hayao Miyazaki's Yuki's Son, and then the two X-Men 97 episode reactions, and then we will do questions, and that'll be it. Thank you all for being here tonight. Thank you for the super chat. Thank you for the super chats, people who have given them. And Joe Camp died. I didn't know that. Oh, from the Benji French. Okay, that's probably why I didn't know that. Sorry. Well, RIP to him as well. But yes, I'm just gonna take a break. Oh, let me get Let me get Ace the Wind Rider's awesome thing. Is it this one? Yes. Okay, we're going to put this up. I'm going to mute the thing. Thank you, Ace the Wind Rider. Check his links below in the description. And I will be right back, and then we will talk about the Hayao Miyazaki thing and all that stuff. All right. Please stick around for that, and I will see you shortly. Okay, hello, I'm back. Oh no, I was not going to play music. That was just sort of a test at the beginning. Maybe I should put on a song. Maybe I'll oh, I should bring myself back there. Maybe I should do a song for I don't know. I have a lot of music sitting around, so maybe I'll do that. That would be cool. I didn't have a music song set up, but hey, Optimus Rimjob's here. How's it going? Drink some water. All right. I might have too much time. Maybe I should have talked about some other stuff. Anyway, it's fine. We'll just get all the questions done. That'd be nice. That'd be nice. Okay, hold on. I want to make sure. Okay. That's what I thought. I was right. You'd be surprised how much you can remember in your head there. Oh, thank you, Optimus Ridge. That was very nice of you. Alright, so this, I have sort of done all the Miyazaki movies, and I did On Your Mark, and I thought, well, he's won his second Oscar, and this is, unless I can go to the Ghibli Museum, which doesn't look like that's happening anytime soon, but that would be cool though. It sounds like this is probably the last Miyazaki kind of short we're going to do, but I thought people did really like the On Your Mark thing, so let's do another one. Why not? Alright, so Yuki-san is kind of an interesting one because we almost didn't know about this for a little bit. In fact, a lot of people didn't know until it aired, or footage aired for it on TV just a little bit ago, to promote to promote Spirited Away at the time. And apparently most people didn't know about it, and it eventually came out. It's actually on Mubi. But what it was, or what it is, or what it was at the time, I guess, it's a pilot. Well, first, it's a pilot that never really went anywhere. But it was a pilot for, it was a kind of a popular manga that was mainly for girls at the time, by Chiba, I guess, sorry. That involves a 10-year-old orphan girl who's adopted into a family. The storyline gets somewhat complex, and if you've watched the short, I linked to it when I tweeted out, or it's in the description, or it'll have videos before. But if you watch the kind of short of what it is, this is sort of not a full pilot. Now, this is obviously notable because it's Hayao Miyazaki's first time he's directing. He's credited solo as a director, not with Isao Takahata, who worked on him with the Lupin, the first series of Lupin the Third. But this is, to me, isn't a full pilot. It's sort of like a proof of concept thing, because you get this girl, Yuki, who she is apparently Yuki both means girl and snow in Japanese. I keep reading. I don't know if that's fully true, but let's say it is. And she grows up as an orphan and then is going to be adopted by this rich family. And then the rich family is like arrested for some reason, and the town like hates them. So I'm assuming they did something really bad. But she takes the girl from the rich family, and then they're like walking in the snow, and then they find this guy in a hospital, and he's like, "That's my daughter," and you're like, "How do we get here? I don't understand that." And then it's sort of over. It's like 4 minutes. It seems like they condensed a ton of the plot of this into one thing, and tried to pitch it, and it didn't go, and he sort of just moved on and was the animation director he was. The designs and the animation, if you've seen his early stuff like Panda Go Panda, definitely reminds me of that sort of era, or I wouldn't even say as expressive as the Lupin thing. And I kind of think, because of the way it is, it reminds me of like that era of him and Takahata, that kind of animation. But I sort of think this could have been a cool show, but you don't get really the vibe of this. This feels just like an extended trailer for this show that never happened and never went anywhere. I sort of get why it's not aired a ton, because it's not the cool, like On Your Mark or other things like feel like complete things. This feels like wouldn't this be cool? And the network was like, no, not at all. But it I do think it's worth noting, because it is the first thing from a legendary animation director, Hayao Miyazaki, and it shows what could have been. It shows what could have been with this show, but it is like, it's not even really telling a story. It's just like, here's all the lore. We could do this, and it does, like, I was a little surprised, like, people call this a pilot, because this is really just a proof of concept trailer. It's well done, and you get the idea of, like, I fully can picture it. And I think he did a good job with this proof of concept thing. But proof of concept stuff is not fun to watch, and sometimes it is, but this one wasn't. And it just feels like you're getting like a ton of information at once, and then it's done. You're like, okay. And I don't think it like really sold the show. I just think it showed you that it could be done, but it didn't make me want it to be done. So I sort of get it to a certain regard. I think he tried the most he could with this, but unfortunately it didn't happen. I sort of get why it's sort of like a footnote and people didn't know about it till it aired on Japanese TV. And it's like this hidden sort of thing. If you're really into Hayao Miyazaki, I recommend you watch it because it's like one of the other things you can watch. If you're only so into him and you're like, I don't know, I'd watch this sort of, I don't think you should watch it. It's not really worth it for you. But I think there's only so many Hayao Miyazaki movies, and if you want like that one little extra thing, it's worth it to say you've seen it. But I seriously doubt you remember much of it other than like, yeah, he made this weird thing or whatever. And it doesn't really amount to much more than that. And from the way it's been treated over the years, I don't think he thinks about it much either. And honestly, after you finish it, you probably think, yeah, why would you? Okay. Sorry, that was probably dickish. All right. So, I guess you've been wondering what I think. I'm going to drink some of this. If anyone, I still have some for super chats, but I need to wake up a little. X-Men 97. So 2 episodes premiered today of the show that follows up the original X-Men the animated series, literally right where it left off. I was actually thinking today, why did this not take the original ending, which is the end of season 4, and why do season 5? Because I don't know many people even like season 5. But in true X-Men fashion, all of the continuity matters, and we can't just throw out some of it. So they did that. But I think the animation in this show is amazing. It's far more expressive than the old one. Animation technology has grown so much since the original show. It's quite shocking. But I'll just go through episode 1 and 2, and then I'll have some, like, I guess, stray thoughts on X-Men 97. Ramsey the artist is leaving. Good night, Ramsey. Thank you for being here. The first episode kind of introduces the whole concept of it. Professor Xavier. I watched the first episode of X-Men 97, and I was very pleasantly, I was very happy with it. The animation was great. The fights were amazing. There's a lot of Cyclops action, which apparently people really like Cyclops. I was more of a Wolverine person, so but it's cool. He does a lot of cool stuff. He makes a 90s knot joke, so good for Cyclops. But he does a lot of cool stuff. They have an amazing thing where they're falling out of the Blackbird. There's just so many really cool there's such really cool animation and fights in this, but we also understand like who the X-Men are, what they are post Charles Xavier. Jean Grey's pregnant. All this crazy stuff is going on, and it really hypes you up for the show. And if you're like wanting to watch it, I think episode 1 will make you want to watch more of it. It's very well done. It's very well executed, and it makes you like actually excited for it. It's cool hearing all the voice actors again, and just returning to that kind of world that we remember from the animated series. All right, I guess I'll do the second one. I saw X-Men. Okay, sorry. I hope this isn't too stupid. I saw the second episode of X-Men 97. This is about the trial of Magneto. He's wearing his 80s kind of suit from the actual comic that I believe is called The Trial of Magneto, where he's brought before the UN. Things get kind of crazy with the Friends of Humanity, who have like Sentinel technology and stuff. A lot goes on in this episode, but it is really cool seeing X-Men acknowledge the 80s Claremont stuff. This seems to be much more of a tribute to Claremont than even the original stuff was, which very much was, because that was pretty much what X-Men comics was at the time, when the 90s was and stuff. The action, again, is really amazing. It's cool seeing like Storm and Rogue and everything, like even little moments of character stuff builds to something. It's very well structured and well written, And even moments you're like, well, why would you have that extra moment there? Later, when you watch the episode, you're like, oh, that's why. And it's very smartly written and figured out. I really like the animation in this again, and I think it just has some great action sequences and some interesting stuff setting up Magneto as he's going to be the new leader of the X-Men, and even setting up the Morlocks. I'm really curious where this goes, especially how this episode ends. No, when my review of season 1 comes out, I do, yeah, I have a lot of thoughts on the bad animation, and I saw the aired cuts, which I have on DVD, because I transferred those from my old VHS. So I have seen worse X-Men animation than you can on Disney Plus. Look at me, I'm so cool. Overall, though, I will say I think this show really works. Certain things that if I don't want to get into spoilers in case someone watching hasn't seen it, but they hint. Oh, Austin's back. Austin, hello. There's certain things they tease that people figured out that I was like, you could have just not done that show. Like, you could have set this up better. Bishop wasn't as well utilized. Like, why have Bishop on the team if you're not going to utilize him better? I liked Morph and stuff. It seemed to favor certain characters over others, but it's sort of how the show worked. And I've seen a lot of people saying like, oh, the show like condenses all this information together. And I guess because I've been watching the old show, that didn't bother me as much and stuff. But it very much captures the kind of thing that X-Men is and was, and especially that cartoon. And I think they did a really good job. I didn't know that the actress who played Jubilee, who was also Lydia Dietz in the Beetlejuice show, didn't come back because she didn't want to take the voice role from an Asian actress. I think a lot of people forget Jubilee is Asian because of the way some artists chose to draw her and some artists did or didn't and stuff. But she is, and they didn't want to. She didn't want to take that role. I didn't know that actually. I did notice her voice was different, and some people had passed on and stuff like that. But apparently, Kevin Feige very much wanted to bring in as much of the original voice cast as he could. Some of their voices, I'm not trying to be ageist or anything, have aged. Like the Wolverine's voice, I think it's, I forget his name off the top of my head, but he does sound different. I heard a lot of people saying they thought it was a different voice and stuff. It's the same voice, certain things like that. I know Cyclops actor, I believe, passed on, but overall it's really like what I like about X-Men. I'm a big Claremont person. I grew up with that stuff. I was a little surprised they're not going with like what Grant Morrison did, and that's an Acclaim run, or other runs, and I'm not sure why they're not doing that. So I although I haven't read the Grant Morrison run, I need to. It's my biggest oversight, one of my biggest oversights in my life, to be honest. But in terms of art, I have not experienced, but I hope they utilize more of that, because it's like, I want this to, but I don't know, maybe, I've also thought maybe they know that they can't do that because they have to do the show, and if this show takes place in 97, you wouldn't do that. But anyway, I did like showing like people like the Executioner, who wasn't he like a Pizza Hut thing or something? He wasn't a major. Anyway, it's interesting what they're doing with it. I'm hooked. I was really excited to watch both of them, and I'm so far I'm really into it. So I didn't know people were saying Studio Mirror did it. That's pretty cool. So I don't know if we'll do reaction things like that. I hope that wasn't too dumb, but we'll see. I think the first one will at least be out tomorrow. All right, I'm gonna do. I guess we're ending early. Is there anything? If there's anything people wanted me to talk about, I can go on a little bit, because I don't like to give you guys a shorter show. But let's do Patreon questions first. I'll put questions below. And if anyone still has super chats, hit me up. Beast is the same. Westonator. Beast is the same. He very much sounds it. And yeah. All right. Let's do. I'm gonna save Austin. I always save your Patreon question for last. You got to do that. All right. Cineram asks, is is that reoccurring string riff in the new Furioso trailer taken from The Man Who Sold the World, and just how awesome is that new trailer? I don't think it was, but I wouldn't be surprised. George Miller goes all over the place. Man, it just, Anna Taylor-Joy, like the way he shoots her eyes, like she looks like she's from a silent film, and Chris Hemsworth and that whole getup, and like all of like, I don't know. I think I mean, I know this won't be as well laid out as Fury Road because, and this isn't a knock at Furiosa, because they developed and went over the storyboards for like 20 years or something. So like there was so much in there. You can't do that again. I'm sorry. But I do think it's still going to be an amazing movie. I still think it's going to be... Mad Max films are always impressive, except for Beyond Thunderdome, maybe. But, man, it's going to be... I'm excited. Nathaniel Fogus said, you find it funny they always seem to cast people who've been on SNL to play the Cat in the Hat. That's true. And I also got to say, I think Martin Short's was the best of them, from what I've seen of that show, at least. I haven't seen a ton of that show. Jordan Bouchard, what are some memorable or reoccurring dreams you've had? I don't know if it's very personal, but when I was a kid, I used to have this dream where like I was running in these like underground tunnels, and like all my Saturday morning cartoons would show up like it's Cartoon All Stars, and I never figured out and I had that one a lot. I just had crossovers. Anyway, Austin said, hey Jim, what a great show tonight. Great dice beat. Thank you, by the way. That actually, I really, thank you. By the way, the way people should check it out as show much stuff back in the day. Wait, what? Okay, by the way, people should check it out. Show much stuff back today, like X-Men, your Dark City DVD, movie crap, and talking about this movie needs... Nobody heard about stop motion. Oh, I should have mentioned stop motion. Sorry. Okay, I'm confused. My question for you is, are there any very special episodes in the vein of The Bicycle Man from Different Strokes that stuck out in your mind or you remember seeing them premiere? I saw like a bunch of Full House ones. The only ones that stick out are like the crossovers. There was one about like guns, because like kids wearing the same shoes was always like a big thing back in the 90s. And I remember a Family Matters one, like some kid wore somebody's shoe this, and they made a big thing out of that. So I think I remember that. Oh, and a Doogie Howser that was about the LA riots. I remember those. Those are the ones I like actually remember. So, and every Clone High was a very special episode. So, Cornbread asks, with John Mulaney's Madam Web quip at the Oscars, do you think there's going to be some scheduling conflicts with him reprising his role as Spider-Ham? This is mostly a joke. Sony and Amy Pascal are a little sensitive, but I think I think they will let that one go. And I hope his Spider-Man Ham stuff is already recorded. But, man, he should really host the Oscars. That would be great. Ace the Wind Rider, most underused X-Men character across all movie, cartoons, and animated media. I would actually say Cannonball, and I always think he could have been sort of the Cyclops replacement, and they don't really ever do that. And I thought that was kind of, just because I'm a New Mutants fan, I always thought he's a really interesting character, as well as Danny Moonstar. They both could be running an X-Men team, but they don't do that. The Westinator, are you familiar with Mr. Sunday Movie's Caravan of Garbage series? Either way, you should check out tomorrow's video on Godzilla 1954. So everyone for a long time told me I should be into Mr. Sunday Movies, and I finally started watching Caravan of Garbage just randomly, and I actually really, really like that stuff. And so I heard there's this Godzilla one, and at first I'm like, I've really heard so many things about the 1954 Godzilla movie. I was like, do I need to do this again? But I'm getting the impression you've watched it already. So maybe I will check it out. I probably will, because I'm becoming more and more of a fan of his stuff. I don't listen to the podcast where he talks about news, but part of me is like, maybe I should. Although I do listen to a lot of movie news podcasts as it is. Black Winkle, what other comic book property would you want to see get an animated movie from the same people who make Spider-Verse? That is a good question. I would... well, first I would say the Max, but that's already been animated, so I will be a little more creative and say, actually, I think Howard the Duck would work really well with those people. Or Pogo or Bone. Yeah, those are good. I think those are good answers. Have you seen at Aaron Taylor Johnson's press statement on playing Craven and how much of a safe coward his comments are when saying stuff that he took the role because it did the character well? I noticed he said like stuff like, I don't want to be in stuff that dilutes cinemas, and I was like, what? You mean the Sony needs to exploit every Spider-Man IP that they can movie? I don't know if that's like the statement I'm making. He had a weird week because he's like was almost cast as Bond but wasn't. I wish the UK tabloids wouldn't do that. I didn't really get into the Bond stuff, but I will say I actually don't think it should be a white guy. To be honest, I think that's a bad move at this point. And I don't think it should be him either. He like, I don't know what he was doing with that. That sounded so embarrassing. It's just like, whatever. Nathaniel Foga, how has March been for you? Very busy, but good. The Mighty Jim, I like your name. Cool name. Thoughts on Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes? Do you think Westball is a good choice for director considering the last franchise he directed? The Maze Runner kind of just fizzled out upon delivery. I will defend the first two Maze Runners because I've seen them, and I think he did a good job of. I do think he's a good choice. I will defend Westball in that I saw a bunch of those YA Hunger Games ripoffs, and so many of them did the same thing. Like, this is our apocalyptic world. Here's all the rules, and that would be like 45 minutes of the movie. Maybe not 45 minutes. It felt like 45 minutes. I don't care the Divergent rules or the Hunger Games rules or whatever the fuck it was. And Maze Runner was like, I think in the first one they did that a little bit, but then they're like, well, we have to like run through mazes, so we don't actually have the time. So like even the second one, they kept running and running and running to things, and I was like, this is actually cool. This is fun. So I think he gets like what a movie needs to be. I've for a long time, a lot of people have thought he's more talented than he gets credit for. They're probably the best directed of that sort of subgenre. I did not see the last one. So I was thinking actually maybe I should like just watch that one because before I see Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, but we'll see. But I think he's going to be good. Zane Powers, thoughts on the creator of the Willy Wonka scam experience saying that his life has been ruined over the event? I mean, don't make a scam event. I don't understand that when people make scams. They're like, my life's been ruined. I'm like, well, I mean, nobody made you scam everybody. I don't understand, but whatever. Black Sea Axel, Paul Blart in the style of Mad Max. I love it. You know what? George Miller would be crazy enough to do that. So, I agree. Where are we? Oh, sorry, Cornbread. Do you think with you having a Switch now, you'll make good on saying 6 years ago that you'll buy Cuphead? It's for something like $4 essentially on there. I wouldn't mind playing it, but the thing is like I like playing Mario Kart because Sophie plays it, and like I've looked at the Switch. I'm like, I could play a game right now, but like in my head, I'm like, I could, or I could watch this cartoon, or I could watch Jellystone, or there's like too many things and too many things for me to do. So it's like video games just never really. I don't know. I actually, you know what? I wanted to actually talk about this, and I forgot to. And since we have a little more time, I saw the. There was a thing made of like the guy who did the music for Oppenheimer said like, oh, I'm glad my parents didn't even play video games, and I did music, and like I'm a kid who didn't have video games, and so I'm not as into it. And so people would often say, oh, well, you know a lot about movies because you didn't have video games, and like try to put the positive spin on like, oh, at least you're not logging all these hours into a game and stuff like that. And like everyone heard like, oh, well, at least these like videos you're making can be watched later and stuff. That's fine and stuff, but I've never felt that video games are like inferior because of that. And I honestly feel like I sort of missed out, even though I don't really want to invest the time in doing it. So I don't love when people put that on me before, not like publicly, but like privately and stuff. So I understand like the sentiment. I've never wanted to say like publicly like, oh, well, I wouldn't know all this stuff without it. I'm like, that's what I was gravitated towards, and I don't think it's video games fault or something like that. Like I just think people are weird about gaming, and it's like that's someone else's interest. It seems like it's really hard to make a game, and it seems like it takes skill to play them, and like I will never be like that person being like, you know, oh, well, if I did video games, I wouldn't be here. And I'm like, I guess if I did heroin, I wouldn't be here too. I'm not like, not that I'm comparing them, but it's like there's a lot of things like you like if I like to run in front of moving cars, I wouldn't be here now. I don't. What's your point? Like it's like I don't know. I thought that was a really when people talk shit about it, I agree with them about that. It's like don't be shitty about other people's things. I don't understand. You know, if I played football, I wouldn't be doing this. Maybe I don't know. Like just why do people got to be weird about shit? Chan talks movies. What's your favorite Planet of the Apes movie? The original, but I like Rise. I like the second one of Matt Reeves, the first one, but the second one. I would say those. I like the second of the original, and I don't know if I'm going to do a review of the fourth. I don't know how I'm going to do that. I usually do an older Planet of the Apes review to tie in with it, but I wish I need to review Rise at one point, so we'll see what happens with all that. Cinerum, dear Jim, it's not the length of the show that's important. It's your live streaming technique that counts. I don't know if it's even that's that good, but thank you for that. Not plausible. What's your favorite obscure video format? I think there was a video disc in the early 80s, and I forget what it's called. I think it was just called video disc. I would say that one. Zane Powers, do you fall for propaganda about authoritarian regimes and how great they are to live there? I hope I don't. Well, maybe I don't know. Cornbread, more like request, I guess, post your Switch in the Discord. I want to see what color controllers you got. Oh, I just have the red and the blue. Or orangey red. Anyway. So feel free to ask gamer questions in the Discord. Okay, thank you. Zane Powers, you missed the Switch thing? It is a recent thing, but not plausible. What do you do to fill the emotional hole once your favorite show ends? I just watched something else. What's your favorite anime Japanimation that isn't Akira? Good question. See, what's weird is you can't say Ghibli, I guess, which I always find odd. Mind Game, though. Mind Game. Mind Game is one of my favorite movies ever. Can you do the show again? I missed it. Austin. All right. Sure. That's funny. Zane Powers. Whoa. Hold on. It's currently 4:15 a.m. here, and I have a meeting at 2 p.m. tomorrow, but this is well worth it staying up listening to Jim. Can't wait for more. Thank you, Mighty Jim. Were you the person in the UK? Is that, hold on. I have a world clock. Is that the UK? Fuck, it is. Well, congratulations. Where in England are you? Well, don't tell me that. I'm sorry. But congrats to me in England. I hope you wake up in time. If Harvey Weinstein was actually such an awful producer, why do so many people say otherwise? I think they were getting something out of it. Panavision, have you seen Tron Uprising? If you have, what are your thoughts on it? I have not, so no thoughts. Austin, did you see the Degrassi episode when Drake got shot or the 90210 got shot? What? I did see that when it premiered, actually. I was like, I gotta watch that. Okay. Jim Heroin review coming when? Sorry, the heroin thing went too far. I apologize for that. But I did also say jumping in front of cars, so I think that okay. I'll do one last Zane Powers, then I'll move on. No offense, Zane Powers. Is your movie sucks right that Elemental is the worst Pixar movie ever with an awful style? No, that's not. I disagree with the art. I think the art style, the design is interesting. Not a single good vote. No. I've met your movie sucks and not a fan. Just I've been on a podcast with him and everyone who's like, man, that guy not the greatest. I'm like, you have no idea. Tunjay, what film series have you seen almost every entry in theaters? Oh, that is a good question. Maybe the MCU. No, because a few of those at home. Spider-Man. No, I don't know. Wow, that's a good question. I'm gonna have to think about that. What does auteur mean to you? I don't know the exact definition. I have a video called What is Auteur Theory, and I go into it. So, I mean, I made it. So that is literally what I thought. And then there's a second part that goes into my issues with it. So it's like, I have a lot of thoughts on it. Why hasn't James Bond started advertising to children to eat their broccoli and push the agenda of big broccoli by the broccoli? You know what? Cornbread, that is a good point. Why haven't they? Did you fix your YouTube scrolling? No, I don't know what the deal is with that because some of the scrolling works, but for some reason on this, I don't know. Oh, okay. Listening to the podcast, I guess it is. Did you know that Billy Joel was in the psychedelic rock band The Hassles? But I did actually know that. Have you ever done an open mic, or would you ever do one? I heard everyone starts out not getting laughs. I've thought about it, but I don't have like a routine, and I don't know. If I did watch movie crap, what would my life be? I don't know. Jim Heron review coming when? I like cornbreads. Honestly, mature statement. Say me that while you're right there. One thing. Sorry. All right. Is that every? Oh wait. Let's. Is there one more? I thought you were in two with one. Yeah, I think I was. You know, I hate everything. Like that guy. That guy's cool. I was cool with him. Has he made a video in a while? I haven't. What happened to him? Anyway, I think we're done here. Thank you for being here. Sorry this is kind of a meandering show. I hope everyone had a good time. Thank you everyone who did any of the super chats. I very much appreciate it. Appreciate it. As I do. I think we'll be back next week on a Wednesday. Hopefully there'll be like bigger stories and all that, and expect some stuff coming soon. And he uploads like once a year, man. If you do have a question, below in the comments, leave them down there. Or if you want to do super things because you couldn't tonight or something like that, anything like that, have at it down below. I think there'll be something tomorrow. I don't know what it's going to be. Will George Lucas restore the magic? 2J723. Apparently, just for corporate guys, I guess. Cheers to you. Anyway, check out the new stuff coming soon. Thank you all for your support. Thank you for being a cool audience. I've been really happy, especially the dice thing. I know it's silly, but it really meant something to me. I don't know. Dune Part 2 will be the next big review. I think the X-Men things, I hope those are good, will come out soon. They'll have all these clips and stuff in them. And yeah, thank you all for being here. It's cool talking some shit with y'all. And I'll see you all next time. And subscribe if you would like to. See you next time. Bye.